Welcome to you, my name's Dale and this is Dale's Addiction. Yes, I'm chiming in on the Is Luxury YouTube out of touch or a welcome escape conversation. There's been a few videos come up about the demise of luxury YouTube recently. I filmed one several weeks ago that I never published because I felt like it sounded like a bit of a whinge, and I'm not typically comfortable when I'm a whinger. Whinging is the Australian term for just complaining and being generally negative and pessimistic, so I try not to associate myself with those behaviours. Therefore, I filmed the video, I edited the video, I uploaded the video into my YouTube studio, I watched it a few times, and I decided not to publish it. I decided to actually check in with my audience, the people who I know watch my videos on Instagram, and ask them what do they think, and then comment on their perspectives. I think it feels like more of a conversation doing it that way than perhaps it does if it's just me rambling on about my thoughts. And this way I can share some of my thoughts with you, but in response to what you have shared. So the question I asked was, is luxury YouTube out of touch or still a welcome escape? The reason I asked the question in that way is, for me, luxury YouTube has always been about escapism. It's never been a place that I go to feel good about myself, to rationalize my spending, to maybe I used to research in the early days, but I haven't done for many years now, particularly since becoming a creator myself. I prefer the adventurous side of luxury, where you just stumble across things that make your heart sing, and they might not make sense, they might not have any rhyme or reason, but that's what I look for. And so the kind of content I watch and the kind of content I create tend to be more in that escapism space than, you know, in the practical, realistic reviews, helping people make informed choices about stuff they really don't need. So most of you said overwhelmingly, and obviously there's a bias because you follow a channel called Dale's Addiction, and after giving you that kind of long-winded intro, chances are if you watch my channel you like the escape too. So I realise there's a bit of a bias in my audience, and I will name that up front. But I wanted to expand on some of the comments that I received. I think that this one's really interesting because this can be something that I think comes across as quite patronising when people who buy a lot of luxury talk about the financial positions of their audience. Liv said, "It's still a welcome escape because I understand all people are in different financial positions." And I think what she's saying there, and what I'm taking it to mean, is I don't begrudge people for being in the position where they can still continue to indulge, and in some cases, quite significantly, whilst, I might not be able to indulge at that level. Also on that note, I think it's a pretty, it's something that if you're in the position to be buying these things, or even if you're not, but you're still buying them, and you're trying to empathize with people who are not, and kind of be worldly and caring and compassionate, it usually doesn't land well. So in my view, when creators do this, I kind of say stay away from it. Just be who you are. You don't need to apologize for who you are. People will watch you because, of whatever their motivations are. I've always held the view, and I actually commented on Melinda from Lux vs. Love's video. Hi, Melinda. I've always held the view that I believe most of the audience of luxury YouTube as a niche don't actually buy luxury. And the reason I've held that view is because a lot of creators that are really big still make the videos about, 10 luxury handbags you can buy for less than $1,000. When they're not buying those bags, they're buying them for their audience, and those videos do really well. There are lots of people who comment on my videos who say, I don't buy luxury, I don't own anything, or maybe I own one thing, but I enjoy coming here to hear about it. I enjoy coming here, it's entertaining for me. And I don't feel less than because I'm not buying it or I'm not in a position to buy it. I also think that a lot of the sponsorship deals that come to luxury YouTube in the more affordable category or alternatives for luxury pieces are also aimed at people who aren't buying luxury. And it makes sense for those companies who are, you know, sending, say, Ideal and Lily Silk their luxury alternatives, in my opinion. And they're much more, you know, accessible. And so if somebody's watching a luxury channel and they see something that they go, look, I wouldn't spend $5,000 on a Dior blouse, but I'd spend a couple of $100 on this Lily Silk one, they're going to see it in a luxury environment. So that's where I kind of get my perception that a lot of people who watch luxury YouTube don't buy it. Help me out in the comments. Are you one of those people? Do you just not buy luxury, but you like watching luxury YouTube? This was an interesting comment from Kimmy. It's still my escape, but it's not reflective of life. And I think that's true. I think, you know, people tune in to watch luxury YouTube. I watch luxury YouTube knowing now as a creator that I will sit down on the weekend for half an hour, maybe an hour if I'm going to, you know, film 2 videos, and I'll talk about my passion for luxury handbags. That is 1 hour out of a 7-day week. It is not a huge part of my life. However, do I wear a different bag every day? Yes, I try to. Do my Instagram feed, does my Instagram feed look like a bag lover's paradise? Yes, it does. Are the screenshots on my phone mostly handbags and dogs and selfies of outfit of the day? Yes, they are. But realistically, my time on YouTube is 1 hour out of 7 days in a week. So it is only a small part of life. And I think Kimmy picks up on that really well. And I think it's a good distinction to make around, you know, luxury just being a very small part of a creator's life. In some situations, if you're a full-time influencer, obviously it's going to take up a lot more time researching and creating different types of content and partnerships and collaborations and all that jazz. But I think people recognize that this part of it, the video watching part of it, is just an escape. This one from Deep Blue Sea was a great comment. It says, not here for treatsies about why my priorities are skewed for liking pretty bags. And, you know, I can totally relate to this one, that there's a few of us, regardless of how out of touch it is to like beautiful, pretty bags. Can you talk about that in your real life? Is that a sensitive topic for people who are doing it tough? Can you find other people to connect with in this environment? For me, absolutely yes, and I'm really grateful for it, because I feel like if I didn't have this creative outlet, if I couldn't share the things that I'm interested in for want of not hurting the feelings of people around me or inviting criticism that was unwelcome, then yeah, I'd probably be a bit less happy. This one from Gwenny. Hi Gwenny, she has a great YouTube channel, I'll link her below. She says it's a 50-50. The mega hauls, not so much in touch, but considered purchases and styling videos still very much in touch. And I have to agree with Gwenny. I love watching, and I'm watching a lot more reels lately on Instagram of people styling their pieces. I find them way more enjoyable than just watching someone go, I bought this and I bought that and I bought that and I bought that. The thought that goes behind selecting pieces to invest your money into, so not invest to get a return, but to spend money on, I should say. The thought that goes into it, how you're going to wear it, where you see it, you know, fitting into your broader collection of pieces. I love those kind of narrative stories. I love the story about leading up to getting the piece and then unboxing the piece and then seeing how the piece is going in the person's collection and how they're styling it. I love those too, Gwenny. Laura says, a welcome escape if you enjoy the beauty and avoid the comparison game. So talking to that concept, and I made a video recently about, you know, the comparison that can tend to weigh on you around content that you watch on YouTube. And sure, watching somebody continuously spend, you know, $10,000 every week unboxing, for some creators, I could imagine people saying, oh my God, you know, what's wrong with my life? Why can't I do that? For others, you know, even unboxing once a month, twice a month might still feel like a long way off where you're at in your life. And so if you can avoid the comparison being the thief of all joy, you can enjoy the escape as well. So great point there, Laura. Lux to Loki, how you going? She says, endless holes are boring, but sharing actual joy never gets old. I agree. I think that one of my favourite videos of recent times has been Melinda's unboxing of her beautiful Louis Vuitton Capucine. She hadn't seen it yet. She hadn't seen it in person. It got sent straight from the store.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Ah, okay. It is the Louis Vuitton Wicker Capucines BB. Oh my gracious. Oh my gracious, it is so beautiful. Oh wow. Oh wow.
It arrived. Her genuine excitement and joy just really brought me back to what I love about YouTube and watching YouTube. And I think that being able to share someone's joy and not be jealous and not feel less than and be there with them in that moment is a real privilege, and I love that about luxury YouTube. Lepika says it's out of touch and that's why everyone is shifting. And I think that there's a lot in this comment, and thanks for sharing it with me. I think there's a continuum, I suppose, of, you know, spending massive amounts of money and unboxing a lot of designer items consistently every single week or fortnight or month. And then there's, you know, one or two a year. And somewhere in between on that continuum is where most of the creators that I watch sit. It's been a long time since I have seen a haul video, a luxury haul video, I have to say. Even the people who are constantly out and about unboxing and buying pieces, bigger channels, I'm not watching them because I don't like their content. I have a lot of friends here on YouTube now, and so I watch for the personality of the creator. And I think as long as you're relatable as a person, potentially, and your relatability extends to, you know, how much you're indulging in these pieces and sharing them, that you can still be in touch with your viewers. I think there's got to be some kind of sweet spot along that continuum where you start to become less relatable and therefore seen as out of touch and therefore having to shift because you've gotten to a point where you've got to maintain content creation, but the content that you bring doesn't speak to most of the people that got you to where you are today. Does that make any sense? In my head it does. I'm going to ignore all the beautiful, I'm not going to mention the lovely compliments that I've received in here because, you know, I'm too humble for that. But this comment here from Luxury in Reality, she says she likes discovering new finds, reviews of new releases and real discussions. And yeah, I do too. I'm tending to find, you know, I've discovered Cassia LV. I'll link her channel below. She shows us the new pieces from LV and she does it like really quickly in the season. I love how honest she is. Like some of her commentary is like, yuck, I don't like it, it's too much money, it's cheap, it's nasty, and right through to the pieces that she loves. And I find her such a refreshing creator, so I'll link her below because yeah, if you're looking for new content creators, I've discovered a few new ones recently that I'm really enjoying. So this is an interesting set of comments and I'm not sure I'm going to get it right, but here we go. There's 3 of them. Is luxury YouTube out of touch or welcome escape? Yes and no. I prefer certain areas of luxury YouTube, like the fashion girlies. They don't just do hauls. They mix high and low, they're very thoughtful about what they buy, and I learn from them. I also find them to be interconnected and friendly, specifically in the black and brown spaces, with no drama. So I'm going to take this one to say it's the more integrated content approach that's bags and style and fashion and pulling things together, and the connection between creators that makes it a welcome place to be, as opposed to people not mentioning other creators. And I know in a few videos where people have talked about Jerusha leaving luxury YouTube, that she's one of the big creators who does constantly shout out to smaller channels, whereas a lot of larger creators don't tend to do that. I don't know if that's a business decision. I don't know if that's because there's a lack of friendliness and toxicity. I don't know. I probably never will, because my channel is a very slow grower. And so it's not something I can comment on with any level of preciseness. But I do agree, I like to be a part of the group. I like to feel like I'm friends with other people who are creating content and sharing information, shouting out to each other, sharing each other's videos. I like that too. This one from Claire Louise Lux, who also has a great channel. It's all about the creator. Some are not enjoyable anymore and they just don't seem very genuine, but the ones I love watching are still an escape and are enjoyable. Yep. I think it becomes now more about the person, whereas before I think it was more about the content. And if you are going to cut down on your viewing, you probably want to enjoy it from multiple aspects that the creator brings. So here's one that's been kind of controversial in the comments, has been around, I still love it. This is from AMG to AMZ. I still love it. I think some YouTubers are out of touch. I just don't follow them. And when these YouTubers, you know, some people come to mind that have been mentioned as out of touch, are those who are, you know, close to having 1 million followers and their channels are infomercials most of the time. I don't know if that's what I call out of touch. I think that they have just turned their channel into a business, and it's not about being relatable anymore. It might have been once upon a time, but not so much anymore. And I've mentioned Sophie Showhead's new channel as well, where she's kind of gone, hey, there's 90% of my life that you don't see. I'm going to make a channel talking about that, because when I talk about real life on a luxury channel, nobody watches. I'll link her channels in the description box below. For me, the YouTubers that are out of touch, it's kind of hard to name, right? Because I come here for escapism, and so if it was about reality and relatability all the time, I probably wouldn't watch any. You know? I'd probably just be chatting with my friends in the DMs on Instagram or in a messenger chat or WhatsApp. Like, yeah. It's definitely about escapism. It's about peering into someone else's life and seeing what they're buying that you wouldn't normally know about. The out of touch things I struggle with, because I guess I'm not in that position where I rate my success against somebody else's perceived success, if that makes sense. It's a hard one for me to answer. I don't feel less than because someone else is doing better. Does that make sense? This comment from Iconsa. All channels started from entry-level LV and ending in the Hermes game. What is left? There has to be something else. Yeah, I get it. I know. And I think just moving straight to Hermes, and certainly from the channels that I've been watching since I've been, you know, tickled by the Hermes feather, is that it's about limited money. And so people go, you know what, if I want to get this next bag and I'm deciding whether or not I'm going to buy a Mulberry handbag that I'm thinking about at the moment for $2,000, or am I going to spend $2,000 at Hermes so that it goes on my profile and I'm looked upon, you know, well, then they're probably going to spend the money at Hermes. I'm not that committed yet, and that's probably going to affect the length of my journey, because, you know, I'm not brand loyal. There's lots of brands that I like, but yeah, I find just constantly talking about Hermes, and there's a couple of channels that do that, I find it to be quite laborious, and it's like a job. And I understand why people get excited about it, because, you know, it's the chase, and, you know, the psychology of being told you can't have something and then wanting it even more brings people together and they all strategize. But yeah, I am with you. I like to see diversity in my content. This is funny because this person is probably not going to watch this video. CXM050723. I'm not enjoying the discussion-based videos. I love styling and luxury shopping, etc. I'm with you. I like a mix. If a creator's just doing sit-down chat videos all the time, I agree, I'm less inclined to click on them. I'm like, show me something else. That's what I'm here for. If there's no eye candy, I'm not interested. And here I am, 22 minutes and 57 seconds into a chatty video. I'm sorry, you probably won't watch this anyway. I'm probably going to land on this comment, which is, I can't pronounce the username. I think it's just a mix of words, but it's a welcome escape, but everybody is making the same videos about their reflections on topics. I agree. I see a sequence of conversations in my YouTube feed where someone makes a video, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, and you know, I'm done. And that's why I called this, you know, another video about YouTube being out of touch, because chances are no one's going to watch it anyway, right? But I agree. I'm just like, sometimes it's been done, you know. It's been done. And if there's nothing unique to add, then maybe you don't need to add it. And that's why I thought I would get your views and respond to them, as opposed to just bringing my own to the mix. But maybe that's not unique enough. So again, sorry if you find this boring. So in summing up, where's it at? For me, it's a welcome escape. For most of you, not surprisingly, it's a welcome escape. But I think if we think about that continuum I referred to before, around spending thousands and thousands of dollars on the weekly to, you know, 1 or 2 bags a year, I'd say I'm somewhere in the middle of that. Somewhere in the middle. I had a massive year last year. I felt sickly about it when I added it all up. But I have no regrets. It was just one of those years where everything was aligned. My opportunities, my imagination, the places I was in the world, it was pretty fantastic. And I've really reined that in this year. I believe I have anyway. In my little mind, I think I've been much more rational and considered this year. I wanted to be more intentional this year. I think I'm being more intentional. And so I hope still in touch. But I guess you guys will be the judge of that, as you always are. And I'm grateful for your feedback and for your comments and for interacting with me over on Instagram and sharing your views. If you've enjoyed this video and you've got something to add, give it a thumbs up and hit the comment section. Whoa, what happened there? Hit the comment section down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this topic. Is luxury YouTube a welcome escape, or is it out of touch? Consider subscribing if you haven't already so you catch my next video. And until then, ciao.